Friends, neighbors, countrymen, lend me your ears. We need to talk about America's favorite pastime. Picking fights with countries it shares a ridiculously long border with. This time it's Canada in the hot seat. And the weapon of choice? Tariffs. Yes, those delightful little economic penalties designed to make everyone involved poorer and angrier. Trump, in his infinite wisdom, has decided to slap a 25% tariff on steel and aluminum imports from Canada. This, despite Canada being America's biggest supplier of both. It's like punching your biggest customer in the face and then wondering why they're not buying your lemonade anymore. And just for good measure, he's also added a 25% tariff on most other Canadian goods. Because why stop at metal when you can target maple syrup and hockey sticks too? Now, you might be thinking, surely there's a good reason for this economic aggression. Well, hold on to your toques, because you're about to enter the bizarre and nonsensical world of Trump's trade logic. Trump's justification for this trade war is a greatest hits collection of his usual misleading claims. He's claiming Canada is taking advantage of the US, citing a trade deficit that, while existing, is significantly smaller than he claims. He's also brought up Canadian dairy tariffs, conveniently forgetting to mention that those are triggered only if the US exceeds export limits, which it hasn't. It's a classic case of Trump twisting facts to fit his narrative. A narrative where America is always the victim and everyone else is out to get them. Canada, being the polite and reasonable nation it is, initially tried to reason with the Trump administration. They pointed out the absurdity of the situation. They highlighted the mutually beneficial trade relationship between the two countries, but when you're dealing with someone who thinks trade wars are easy to win, logic and reason tend to fall on deaf ears. So, Canada did what any self-respecting country backed into a corner would do. They retaliated. They imposed their own tariffs on a range of US goods, targeting everything from computers to sports equipment. It was a measured and calculated response designed to inflict maximum economic pain while still leaving the door open for negotiation. The economic consequences of this trade war are already being felt on both sides of the border. In Canada, there are concerns about job losses, particularly in Quebec, a major supplier of aluminum to the US. The Canadian dollar has taken a hit and businesses are bracing for the worst. In the US, consumers are facing higher prices on everything from cars to beer. The stock market is jittery and businesses are worried about the long-term impact on the economy. Even Trump's own party is divided on the issue, with many Republicans expressing concern about the damage these tariffs will inflict. But the fallout from this trade war extends far beyond economics. It's also deeply damaging to the relationship between the US and Canada, two countries that have long enjoyed a close and mutually beneficial partnership. The tariffs have created a climate of uncertainty and distrust, making it difficult for businesses on both sides of the border to operate. The trade war has also sent shockwaves through the global economy. Other countries, fearing they might be next in Trump's crosshairs, are starting to erect their own trade barriers. The European Union, for example, has already announced retaliatory tariffs on US goods. This tit-for-tat escalation of trade barriers is creating a climate of fear and uncertainty in the global economy, leading to decreased investment and slower economic growth. It's a classic case of shooting yourself in the foot and then reloading and shooting yourself in the other foot, just for good measure. The Trump administration's actions are a stark reminder of the dangers of protectionism and isolationism. In an interconnected world, we cannot hope to solve our problems by building walls and starting trade wars. We need to work together to create a fairer, more sustainable global economy that benefits everyone, not just a select few. Until then, we're all stuck playing a high-stakes game of economic chicken, with Trump at the wheel and the rest of us holding on for dear life.